So transitioning into this quote. So, because you mentioned something earlier about a lot of people not having budgets. You know where that comes from?
The Fed.
Well, yeah, but also because the government itself doesn't follow its budget.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
what's this video?
Let's hear this. This is a video on Janet Yellen.
She's hot.
Who was the previous head of the Fed, like you mentioned, and now the Secretary of Treasury.
I can't wait. That's another T-shirt. Janet Yellen's picture. She's hot.
Yeah. This Campos crush.
Oh yeah. Whoo, man.
So Donovan, play that video. Let's hear what she has to say.
As many of you know, I have asked Congress to raise or suspend the debt limit. Since 1789, the United States has paid all of our bills on time, and it should stay that way. In my assessment and that of economists across the board, a default on our debt would produce an economic and financial catastrophe. Many residents in Sacramento could ultimately lose their jobs. Household payments on mortgages, auto loans, and credit cards would rise, and American businesses would see credit markets deteriorate. On top of that, it's unlikely that the federal government would be able to issue payments to millions of Americans, including our military families and seniors who rely on Social Security. In the longer term, a default would raise the cost of borrowing into perpetuity. Future investments would become substantially more costly. This economic catastrophe is preventable, and the solution is simple. Congress must vote to raise or suspend the debt limit, and it should do so without conditions, and it should not wait until the last minute. I believe it is a basic responsibility of our nation's leaders to get this done.
So I want to start off by going off on this because
great, get him, Benny. We might need to get the
What she's doing right here is she is raising fear right now, because what she's saying isn't wrong. Like if the U.S. defaults on it, it will create so many issues out there. I mean, we're looking at Social Security, 401ks, military spending. If the U.S., I mean, not to mention the real estate market. The real estate market and mortgages are backed off the 10-year U.S. Treasury bond. If those lose its weight, what is that going to do to mortgage rates? Like it's going to create so many issues out there for everyday Americans. And I mean, think about it. How many people out there, if they don't get their Social Security check, they're going to be in serious trouble. Like, and we're putting ourselves into here, but the catch, why she is saying it like this, and the key word into that is with no stipulations, because she is sitting here saying, pass it by time, which we're going to have to do. We have to do that, because if not, I mean, if we've already weaponized the dollar, if we go to the point where we're losing credibility in the U.S. credit and U.S. bonds and Social Security and all U.S. based investments, it's going to be devastating to the market. She is 100% right on that. However, you have to look at, why are we in this position? You have to put stipulations in there to, hey, yes, this is a short-term fix, but what is the long-term solution? Let's not just push this off another day. Yesterday 2 days ago, on the 25th of April, the House passed a bill that would increase the debt limit by $1.5 trillion. Essentially what that is doing, buying us some time, approximately probably a year. With that, they did increase and put in stipulations about, hey, we are going to have to reduce spending on these certain things. Now, there's a lot of bipartisan things in there. It's, let's student loans, this and that. At the end of the day, spending just has to stop. Like, saying that there's no stipulations, not taking any accountability, is mind blowing. Like, you are the Secretary of the Treasury. Your job is to keep the budget for the U.S. government. You are not doing that. You are increasing the credit limits by $1.5 trillion from, 31.4 trillion in debt to now just under 33 trillion. Like, that's not going the wrong direction. That is essentially saying, I am failing at my job and I don't care how to get this fixed long term. I just want to buy another year.
Let it burn. Let it burn, man.
You know the first...
Let it burn. Like, seriously. Like, you talk about the pain. There's going to be pain. Let this fucking burn. I am so sick of the lack of responsibility from our government, from Janet Yellen, from Jerome Powell, from basically every Fed chair since the late 80s. Let it burn. Because guess what's going to happen? The American people will be okay. The fat cats, they won't be. And guess what? The rest of if we take a hit, let's talk about this because everyone keeps bringing up the US dollar. I got it brought up to me yesterday. 76% of the world reserve currency. Yes, it'll affect real estate. Yes, it's going to affect the dollar after the dollar was already weaponized by the Biden administration. But let's see how great China, Russia, Brazil, India, Saudi Arabia. Let's see how great the BRICS countries do if the United States just says, fuck it, let it burn. I want to see who's going to survive that because they can't survive without our consumerism.
Right.
Because they make the products that we purchase and we do all the high-tech shit. So let it burn. And to Janet Yellen, what an idiot. We need to suspend the debt limit without any consequence. She's so damn hot, I can't take it. Let it burn. Janet Yellen's an idiot. The Biden administration for putting her in that position's idiots. Jerome Powell's an idiot. They're going to hike the Fed funds rate again. They're all dumb, man. They're either dumb or they're doing this on purpose because there's going to be masses of transfers of wealth. I say let it burn. Let's take the pain. I feel bad for the Social Security people, but guess what? You should have planned for retirement. That's what we should be teaching. You should have planned for retirement. I do. And I do feel bad for that. But if you're relying on Social Security for your retirement, that's a problem. Because Social Security was not designed to support everybody.
No.
It was designed to support 20% of people who made it to the age of 65. Well, guess what? People are living a lot longer now. We've borrowed. Oh, wait, hold on. The U.S. government borrowed against Social Security and took money from Social Security and wrote a bunch of IOUs and that isn't paid back yet. Wait, hold on. And then you want to sit here and you want to tell me in this video that she's telling us and she's telling Congress, who just passed the bill with stipulations, saying you can't keep doing this because you're driving our country to become, we're going to be underwater. We're going to be essentially 2008, except as a country, not just as a homeowner, right? Underwater on our debt. Because you're driving, they want to drive the debt ceiling to $50 trillion. I say, you know what? Stop sending money to Ukraine. My parents told me my entire life, mind your own business. How is Russia, Ukraine our business? How is it? MYOB, mind your own business. Mind your own business until it affects you. Take care of home first, because I can drive through Chicago and parts of Chicago look like a third damn world country, but we're sending trillions of dollars over there and we want to up our debt ceiling for them. I don't know them, but I know the American people. I know the American people. Drive through parts of Atlanta. Drive through parts of any big city. Charlotte, New York, anywhere. Shit, Rock Hill, South Carolina. I was just driving through downtown Rock Hill. It's very nice in downtown. You get outside of downtown, some of those homes look like they had bombs that were dropped on them. That's not right, but you want to take care of the Ukrainians and up our debt ceiling so you can send money overseas to that. You can send money to, Iran for gender studies. How about this? Let's stop focusing on shit like that and start focusing on how we can take care of the American people. So I say let it burn, because I have faith that the American people, we'll suffer a little bit, but we made it through the Depression. We made it through the World Wars. We made it through 9/11. We've made it through Pearl Harbor. We've made it through a lot of catastrophic events. And you know what the number one thing that comes out over and over and over and over is we are resilient people here, more resilient than the rest of the world, because there's something in every American, and not enough of them have spoken up, but it's starting to happen to where we're survivors and we're not going to take shit from anybody. And I'm sick of taking shit from the U.S. government. I'm sick of taking shit from Janet Yellen. I'm sick of them manipulating our currencies. I'm sick of them manipulating our interest rates. I'm sick of them saying, hey, we have to continue to borrow, but guess who's going to pay it? Donovan, you're going to pay it. Ben, you're going to pay it. We have to. Why? So we can send it to Ukraine for people we've never even met? Like, granted, I feel bad for them. That's a humanitarian crisis in certain instances across the world, but we have to take care of our home first. It's the same thing on the airplane. You put your oxygen mask on first so you can help other people. I cannot help somebody at the detriment to myself, and that's what we are doing as a country. And she wants to sit here and say there should be zero consequences. Oh my God. Like, keep a budget. Keep a budget. The last time it was balanced was during the Clinton administration. Right. And that's Every president, every administration, from Republicans to Democrats.
Right.
But what they don't want to tell you is they're all on the same team. They're going to pass a budget that's going to increase the shit to $50 trillion, and they're going to run this country into the ground. They're going to keep causing inflation. They're going to keep causing the destruction of the U.S. dollar. And it doesn't matter if it's Joe Biden or the next president. That's what's going to happen. Doesn't matter if Republicans control the House. It doesn't matter if Democrats control the House. It doesn't matter if Republicans control Senate or Democrats control Senate. They are going to keep destroying our country because they don't know what the true Americans want. The true Americans aren't the people who go to Wall Street. They aren't the people sitting in Congress. They aren't up in Washington in their bubbles. The true Americans are sitting in this room. The true Americans are right down the street. The true Americans are going into that job every day, working a 9-to-5 to support their family. And when I hear shit like that, I want to slap that hot woman. I want to slap her, because here's the thing is, and I would never hit a female, but I'm saying that because you don't understand the American struggle, and every single time you raise the debt ceiling, then raise my taxes, you make it harder for me to send my kid to a better school. You make it harder for me to be able to buy a new car for my wife who has a second child. You make it harder for every American to live life in this country. And it's disgusting that they don't see that. It's disgusting that they want to keep pretending that we're stupid. The American people are not stupid, and I see it more and more and more. More people are standing up. More people from every race, nationality, color, creed, neighborhood. If you talk to people, 85% of them are on the same page. We are sick and tired of it. All of us are. We are sick and tired of it. And we want to sit here, and she wants to pretend that she has our best interest in mind. She doesn't have our best interest in mind. How long has she been involved with the Fed? How long has she been involved with the Fed? Years. She was the Fed chair at one point.
For 4 or 5 years.
She was the Fed chair at one point. More than 4 or 5 years. Dude, that was 10 years ago. She's been involved, and she's been in positions to where she had actual control over budgets and what money is printed and so on and so forth. And what did they do? They kept hitting the print button. They kept hitting the print button. They kept hitting it. And here we are. Here we are. And you want to say you want to raise the debt ceiling without just eliminate it with no consequences. The consequence isn't to them, because I'm sure they have other currencies and other investments and paintings that are worth so much money no matter what happens to the American dollar that they'll be okay. I'm sure they have that, but the American people don't have that. They don't. They don't have diversified investments. 3 out of 5 don't even keep a budget because we don't have financial literacy in our schools, because we have the Department of Education, which is another fat cat government organization that doesn't do jack shit to make sure the American people are taken care of. They would rather argue about whether gender studies should be in schools than whether or not kids can read and pass certain curriculums. And if you're from the hood, you're not taken care of at all. At all. So you want to talk about passing budgets and so on and so forth? Let's cut the Department of Education and put somebody in there that actually can teach financial literacy, math, engineering, science. Let's start competing on the world stage from an education standpoint. Then we can talk about the budget. How about this? Let's fix Social Security. You want to talk about Social Security? Let's fix it. Let's incentivize businesses to come back here. Let's incentivize manufacturing jobs. You want to know a good way to fix a low-income neighborhood? Bring jobs there. Guess what? Manufacturing jobs pay $17 and $20 an hour. I know a lot of people that would fix up a lot of neighborhoods. Yeah. Fuck Janet Yellen. Fuck Congress. Fuck Senate. And fuck politics.